Hi, I'm Samantha Lewis with Cambridge Health Tech Institute, and I'm here at the 4th Annual Next Generation Diagnostics Summit with Dr. John Beeler, who's the Director of Theranostics and Business Development at bioMérieux. Thank you, Dr. Beeler, for taking the time to talk with us today. And my first question for you is, what is the preferred structure of the RxDX partnership for companion diagnostics development?
Well, thank you, Samantha. Yeah, so with regard to your question, what's the preferred structure? That's a question that I don't think we have an answer for yet. And that's mostly reflective of the stage we're at in this emerging field of companion diagnostics. I think it's interesting to note, if one looks back at the approval of Herceptin and Herceptest, it really started this ball rolling, that we had a lag of almost 14 years now between the approval and what we're seeing today. And last year we saw some amazing results with the approval of the COBIS V600 BRAF assay and the ALK fusion assay that really started to set in motion the momentum for this field. And yet, even though the results were very impressive and transformative, we still don't have that model of what's best to drive this area of companion diagnostics forward. Now, from a pharma perspective, we're seeing a wide range across the spectrum of in-house capabilities such as Roche and Johnson & Johnson, to other companies acquiring technology to bring it in-house such as Novartis, to other companies that are pursuing strategic partnerships such as Merck and AstraZeneca. And from a diagnostic perspective, what we're looking for is not to be viewed as a service provider, because development of companion diagnostics is much more than that. And they're really true alliances, and so what we're striving to get to is a partnership, structure a partnership that really reflects the value that we bring and establishes a win-win relationship between both pharma and the diagnostic company.
Great. And so what are some of the biggest challenges in creating a viable companion diagnostics model?
Yeah, so with regard to the challenges, I think it's important to first note, if you look at the traditional business model of an IVD company, it's interesting to note that it's been built on a low margin yet high volume business. And so when we come to companion diagnostics, it's in stark contrast to the typical business model. So any assay development project has to be a compelling investment opportunity for the diagnostic company. And when we look at companion diagnostics, particularly in the oncology area, we're looking at an orphan-like indication without the orphan value proposition. So we need to address that. So in addition to having a more of a niche indication, we also are faced with other challenges, such as low pricing on the assays, as well as a competitive landscape, because there's a number of homebrew or laboratory developed tests on the market as well that we're competing against. So in order to address that, we need to structure partnerships and looking at creative deal structures and also value sharing mechanisms that then reflect the value that we're bringing to the pharma company.
And then my final question would be, what are the key requirements to launch and drive adoption of the companion diagnostic?
Right, so another important component in that, in addition to just developing the assay, we need to also launch and commercialize it. And so therefore, I think when you look at a diagnostic company, you have to look for diagnostic companies that have broad capabilities, not only development, but also regulatory expertise to navigate the regulatory requirements, as well as commercial capabilities. And in particular, you're looking for companies that have global presence, being able to put that assay wherever a pharma company is going to put its therapeutic. So in addition to some of the key features, having clinical validation, clinical utility, which is established when you do the co-development and do the clinical studies, you also have to have assays that are sensitive, robust, reproducible. But the key feature that we're seeing is in terms of reimbursement. Now, not so much here in the US, but outside the US in other countries, that you get into positions where once you get the assay on the market, you also have to go through an extensive health technology assessment, which can lag the availability of reimbursement by almost 2 to 3 years. So we need to look at how we don't allow that to become a barrier to access. And what you're seeing is some models emerge where pharma actually pays for the testing during this review period. And there's examples out there where AstraZeneca paid for EGFR mutation testing, Merck Serono paid for KRAS testing, and Bristol Myers is paying for KRAS testing in Canada. So there are examples out there, and I think that those will help to facilitate access and then really drive adoption and utilization of the assay.
Great. Thank you so much for taking the time to answer my questions. Again, that was Dr. John Beeler from bioMérieux, and I'm Samantha Lewis with Cambridge Health Tech Institute. Thank you.